Good morning, everybody. Today we have Jere Minich from the Lake Sumter Computer Society right here in Lake County. The Lake Sumter Computer Society is a users group, and the attendees range from absolute beginners to professionals, people who have been using computers since the beginning of their time. Jere is an educator, and he gives programs at the Lake Sumter Computer Society, also at other users groups throughout the state of Florida and throughout the country. My name is Dusty Matthews. I'm glad you're here today, and we're going to let Jere get started with his Tune Up Your Windows PC.
All righty. Thank you very much for the introduction, Dusty. Let me share screen, please. Give me a second to get started, and everybody should be seeing my Tune Up Your Windows PC presentation. Let me go into the slideshow mode, and there we are. So, yeah, today we're going to discuss tuning up your Windows PC. And what I really mean by that is giving your PC all possibilities to perform at its peak. If you have questions about specific things, you're more than welcome to email me at programlscs, that's Lake Sumter Computer Society at gmail.com. Or, of course, you can go back to the library at librarian@leesburgflorida.gov. All of the screenshots that you see during this presentation are from my Windows 10 Pro version 20H2. And for additional copies or presentation, again, go back to the library. And what are we talking about? There are some times when you really get unhappy with your PC because it runs slow, etc. I'm going to go through this presentation at my speed. And that means that I'm going to get it done within an hour. You need to take the copy of the presentation that you have or request a copy, and you need to go through it again at your speed and perform the tune-ups. What are we talking about? We're talking about freeing up space. We're talking about cleaning up the main memory of your PC. And I'm going to talk to my slides. I'm not going to read them to you. But of course, I may mention some words that appear on the slides. And there's 51 slides in this presentation. It's important that your PC operate at peak performance. And in order to do that, you need to start somewhere. So let's start with the main memory, your spinning widget, your solid state memory. We need to clean it up. We need to find out how much information is on it, and we need to find out if and in fact I can clean some of it up. And we're going to do that. Let's take a look at how we check the total disk space of our main memory. Well, down in the corner of your taskbar, there's a little symbol like here called the File Explorer icon. And you click on that, and this display comes up. And then if you click on PC, you get this display, and you can see here on my operating system C drive what I have available for free space and what I'm using up. Special tasks, you may be behind in your Windows update, or you may have a full memory drive. And Microsoft goes way out to help you clean up your drive. I'll show you a slide of their different references in a moment. but let's check and see what in fact is on our PC at the present time. So what you need to do to see what's on your PC at the present time is go down to the taskbar and click on the File Explorer, which is this kind of little icon down at the bottom of your taskbar. And once you do that, you're going to get some kind of display like this. You click on PC, and then you're going to get some display like this. And then you can see how much of your drive is being used. And you can see now I have lots of room on my hard drive. And you need to make a note of what's free on your hard drive when you start the cleanup process, so that when you get finished, you can go back and check it again and see how much space you've increased, how much free space you've increased. Like I said, Microsoft has a whole lot of different resources on the internet for cleaning up your hard drive and tuning up your PC. The top reference there is a bit.ly. Now, all a bit.ly is a short version of a long address. Item number 2, supportmicrosoft.com, english.us help/12/425. That takes a while, and you can make mistakes in typing it in. If you convert that to a bit.ly, which I have done in many cases during this presentation, then you get a shortened address to put in the address bar. All of these things that you see on the presentation that are in blue and have a underline are in fact links, and you can click on them if you bring the handout out on your PC, and it'll take you to that link. Something a lot of people forget about is adjusting the appearance and performance. And I'm going to show you how to do that, because Windows, Microsoft, okay, they set it up the way they want it for your enhanced performance. That's a popular word. And I say, maybe that's not what you really want when you want to get top performance out of your PC. So how do you adjust appearance and performance? I have the steps here. Let me show you what it looks like. Down in the bottom, next to your start button, there's a search bar. You type in the word performance, and you're going to get performance monitor pop up, but you want to go to adjust the appearance and performance of Windows. So you click on that. And when you do, this is a display you get. Now, you only get one of these. I'm talking about what will come up immediately is the display on the left-hand side. And as you can see, Microsoft says, gee, you need to have all these little things in your computer. And they need to have shadows and fades and smooth, etc. If you adjust for best performance, now we're on the right-hand side of the screen, and you click on adjust for best performance, you're going to see the kind of display that's there. And then you click on OK, and you have improved the performance of your PC based on what you want. Now, you can customize it by putting check marks in certain places, but you might try that and see if you like the increased performance in your PC. Storage sense. A couple of years ago, Microsoft came out with storage sense, and now it's can be done manually or automatically. And I use the automatic mode. It helps keep my PC clean of leftover files and upgraded logs and error reporting, etc. Those kind of files can grow on your computer and they can clutter up your main memory. So what is storage sense and how do I get to it? How do I make storage sense work for me? And oh, by the way, you can set it up many different ways, and I will show you a how in the next couple slides. So, of course, to do storage sense, we have to go through these 6 steps. And the 6 steps take you first, you go to settings. As you can see up here in the upper left-hand corner, I'm in settings and I'm in system. And then I go down and I click on storage because that's what a little blue bar is, which shows me I'm in storage now. And the first thing you need to look at is my storage sense on? All right. And if it is on, fine. If it's not on, turn it on. And then click on configure storage sense. Now I'm going to get back to temporary files and apps and features in a minute, but let's talk about turn storage sense on and configure storage sense. And when I click here at configure storage sense, then I get this display, configure storage sense or run it now. And yeah, down at the bottom, you'll notice that, ooh, I can do storage sense and clean up right now. And when you do that, after it's completed, which doesn't take long, minutes at the most, then what you're going to get is a display that says, this is how much you've saved. But also here on this page in settings, you're going to be able to set up when you want storage sense to be run, when you want temporary files to be deleted, when you want downloads to be deleted, when you want your recycle bin to be cleaned out, and there's different choices there. So you are setting up what you want. Now, if you remember 2 slides back, I'm now going to go to temporary files right here, temporary files. And when I click on temporary files, I have all these different kinds of temporary files. And when you go there for the first time, there's not going to be any check marks in the little boxes. And as you can see right here, if I click remove files, I'm going to take out 857 megabytes of information and put it off to the side, cleaning up my storage. But thumbnails, delivery, downloads, etc., those are the things that you can get rid of on temporary files. Now I'm going to go back, and this time I'm going to click on apps and features. And when I click on apps and features, I get this display. And it comes up and it lists, usually by name, all of the apps and features that you have on your PC. That's what this list is over here. But I want to know what's taking up the most space. So I click on sort by and I choose size. And as you can see, my PDF program is taking up the most space on my PC. And this, of course, is the date that I put that program on my PC. And then again, it's in descending order about how much space that program takes up. So there's a couple different ways that you can sort this list, but this is a very long, complete list of what's on your PC. Now, if I go down here and click on free books for Kindle e-reader, I'm going to get this kind of display pop up, and I'll have some buttons here: uninstall, move, or modify. That's another option that may show up. You can also go to advanced options. But if you want to get rid of that app, then you can do uninstall, or you can move it to a different place. All right, disk cleanup. There is a lot of utilities out there on the internet that can do disk cleanup for you. And I have used some in the past. But I liken it to, I own a Honda, and I'm going to use a third party to work on my Honda, so I take it to the Chevy dealer. Probably not a good idea. If I'm going to clean up the disk on Windows, why not let Microsoft do it? And that's in fact what I do. I let Microsoft do it to clean up. So how do you run disk cleanup? Well, to delete temporary files, here's the steps. But to do a disk cleanup, I'm going to go back down to that search bar on the bottom of my screen next to my start button, and I'm going to type in disk, and usually disk cleanup will come up right away. And then I'm going to click on the disk cleanup app. And when I do that, I'm going to get this display. And this display comes up for cleaning up the disk of temporary files. There's a second step down here, which I'll go through in a minute, called clean up system files. Now, there's a long list here, as you can see, a scroll bar. There's probably 10 or 12 items here of what you can clean up. And you need to go over and put check marks in each one of them. And if you don't know what these things are, when you click on them, and you get this blue, it tells you down here the description of what that is. So make sure all the boxes are checked, because you can't hurt yourself by checking all the boxes. And then you go down here and click on OK. And this is for temporary files. And when you click on OK, you're going to get a display that says, I'm trying to figure out how much you can save. And then it's going to say, do you want to delete all these files? And you go, yes, and etc. It's really automated after that. The second part of that, of course, is to clean up system files. And when you clean up system files, and that means that you click on this button down here, then in fact, you get a different display, okay? This is temporary files again, but I click on clean up system files, and this is the display you get when you do clean up on system files. And as you can see by my example here, I did a disk cleanup right after I did a Windows update. And there's all this gigabytes of information that's sitting in my storage, my main storage, that isn't needed anymore. And Microsoft knows exactly what that is. And again, you put check marks in all of the boxes. You see down here the total amount that you're going to save when you do a disk cleanup. And then, of course, you click on Start Disk System Disk Cleanup. And when you do that, it can take a while. Depending on how many gigabytes you have here, the system disk cleanup can take a while. And a while, I mean like less than 45 minutes, but don't be discouraged, because you're in fact running system cleanup. And then I'm showing down here on this left-hand or right-hand side is the fact that the device driver packages that you got with a new update can be quite large also. Okay. This is the kind of little display you'll see when you get disk cleanup. And the green bar starts creeping across. I show it all the way over here. And this is where they, in fact, what they're cleaning will be down here, and that can change. You can watch it if you want to, or you can just walk away from it. It doesn't matter. It'll run by itself. There's no more intervention required. Okay. And that's one of the things I don't like about disk cleanup. When it's finished, it just disappears. Okay. And Microsoft doesn't give you a pop-up that says it's all finished and you cleaned up. Nope, doesn't do that. It just disappears. So try disk cleanup for your Windows 10 computer using Microsoft's cleanup procedure. Tuning up your PC means patch and update all software for the operating system. Now, some people say, I'm not going to do an update because it'll change the way things happen and I won't know how to do it. Well, that may be true in some cases, but most of the time when Microsoft sends out an update to the operating system, the OS, okay, then you are talking about some security changes, and they just found one recently. So how do you do that? Well, you start by typing in Windows Update in the search bar down here and check for updates, and you click on that and the next screen will come up. Now, I want to mention here that there's at least 3 different ways to do almost anything on a Windows PC. I'm using the search bar down at the bottom because it's pretty simple. And oh, by the way, see these little things here? That's my markers showing me where my cursor is. These old eyes of mine sometimes lose my cursor. So now I'm in settings again. And I'm in update and security, and I'm right here at Windows Update. And you see this kind of display. If you click on check for updates, and there's an update there, it will start and it'll download onto your PC. So be careful about just clicking on check for updates. And what I mean by that is simply when Microsoft comes out with an update, one of the things I do before I jump on it is I check and see what people are saying about it on the internet. And same thing here with view optional updates. If you click on that, you may be sorry that you did that, so be careful. But the fact of the matter is, you're up to date, last checked, 12:22 p.m. And that message will change as you go through Windows updates. Keep your operating system up to date. Software updates. Now we're talking about apps and programs that you have on your PC. And again, you need to make sure they have the latest updates. The developers of these different programs stay in tune with Microsoft. And when Microsoft puts out a change, they may require a change also to programs and apps that you have on your PC. So again, you can go to Start Settings, Update and Security, Windows Update, and take a look at those kind of things that happen with software. Look for programs and apps not used is one of the most important things about tuning up your PC. I've seen people with 98 different apps and programs on their PC. And I say, what's this for? And they go, I don't know. Well, what's that for? I don't know. You need to go in and uninstall apps and programs that you're not using or are not required. And again, if you use the procedure that Microsoft does provide for this, then you won't run into problems. You cannot get hurt by uninstalling something on your PC if Microsoft allows you to do it. And I'm going to show you how they prevent you from doing that and hurting your PC. Okay. In the past, we've always said, Google it. I use a different search engine. Now, I always say to people, use the browser that you like. And I use Mozilla Firefox. I've tried other browsers. I like Mozilla Firefox, but that's my browser. When I open up my browser, I can get on the internet. And then when I want to look for something, I use a search engine to do so. And Google can't, or Google is the best. It can't be beat, all right? No doubt, all right? But Google knows where I was 2 days ago, and I can't remember. And Google knows a lot about me that I can't remember. DuckDuckGo doesn't allow that. And DuckDuckGo also has their own browser, which I use on my iPad and iPhone, the DuckDuckGo browser. So if you don't know what a program is, DuckDuckGo it. Example, Bonjour software review, Bonjour software Windows 10 uninstall. And the internet will give you information about what you need to know about that program, whether you should leave it on your PC, whether it's optional, or whether you should take it off. Now, again, if I go to settings, apps and features, then I'm going to get the display like you see here. So I'm in settings, I'm in apps and features. And what I get now is a complete long list of all the apps that I have on my PC. And because sort by name has been selected automatically, but I have those other choices, then of course they're in alphabetical order. And again, when I click on one of these apps, notice I have 103 apps on my PC, then I'm gonna get this kind of display you see right here, and I get uninstall, move, or modify, depending on which app you selected. If you don't know what it is, Google, DuckDuckGo it. See, I just about said Google it. All right, I don't use this procedure that Microsoft has for getting rid of apps on my PC. I use Revo Uninstaller, the free version. And the reason I use Revo Uninstaller free is simply because it does a 4-step process. And I uninstall 3 apps, and then I restart my PC, and then I uninstall 3 more apps if I got 6 that I want to uninstall. I don't go in and uninstall 6 apps and then restart my PC, because if it doesn't restart, which one of the 6 screwed me up? So I do 3 at a time. And sometimes when I'm doing Revo Uninstall, the free version, they do have a paid version, while it's running the uninstall program that comes with the program that's on your PC, they may kick you out to the internet. and the internet will say, oh, please don't uninstall us. We're the most favorite program on your PC. X out of there, get back to Revo uninstall and finish the 4 steps. And when you find some when Revo uninstall, find some registry items and or files on the hard drive that are associated with the program you just uninstalled, it will list them and you can look at them and choose to keep them or get rid of them. This is what Revo Uninstaller Free looks like, and there's a bit.ly for it. And as you can see, it's the free version. Clean up your startup folder. From the time my PC is off until it's fully operational, for me is somewhere between 19 and 24 seconds. If you boot up your PC and it takes longer to do that, it may be because of your startup folder. When your startup folder does exactly what it says it does, right? When you start up your PC, it goes to the startup folder and it starts up all of the items listed in your startup folder. And they are running in the background, using up your resources, your RAM, your random access memory. Okay, and it slows down you using any apps because there's not enough RAM, or it slows down, of course, getting your PC from off to fully operational mode. Let's take a look at the startup folder. Again, I'm in settings. We know how to get there now. Okay, I'm in apps, and down at the bottom, I click on startup folder, and you get a list of everything that's in your startup folder and whether or not it's on or off. Now, I don't need a lot of these things. And again, if you don't know what it is, go it. But if you do know what it is and turn it off, no problem. You can turn off everything in your startup folder. I don't recommend it, but I say you can do it, and you can restart your PC and it'll still run fine. Okay. Again, you're not getting rid of the program. You're just turning it off from running in the background and using up your resources. Every time you go into the startup folder and you make a change, you have to restart your PC to activate that change. Otherwise, it will not take effect. There's another way to do the startup folder and see everything in the list. And that is to go to the task manager and go to the startup tab in the task manager. And you get this kind of display, and look at all the different programs that are on my PC that want to be in my startup folder. And you can click one and you can disable it or enable it based on the little button down in the bottom right-hand corner of the startup folder task manager display. Next, let's talk just a second about what is a malware cycle. All right, and the point is there is no antivirus that is 100% effective. All right, because those 4 steps have to take place before you have prevention of some malware on your device. I use Microsoft Defender antivirus. That's its new name, Microsoft Defender antivirus. That's what I use. And again, I go to settings, I go to update security, I go to Windows security, and I check my settings. Now, after I make a version update of the operating system, I go back in and check and make sure that the security that I want is set up. And as you can see here, Microsoft is saying no action needed, no action needed, no action needed. Little green check marks. Well, I go in and check these things too and make sure that security is set up the way I want it and not the way that Microsoft wants it. Restore point. If you have a problem downloading a program on your PC and it screws up your PC, and it's a perfectly good program, it's not malware, okay, that can happen. And you need to go and do a restore point and restore your PC back to a previous time and date when it was operating just fine. Yes, I'm telling you that sometimes programs downloaded into your computer will fight or argue or whatever you want to call it with another program that's already on your computer. And that screws it up. And what you have to do is a restore point to go back. Now, I highly recommend that if you have never done a restore point, you do one when you're not under stress. And restore points don't affect your personal files like photos, documents, videos, etc. Windows, Microsoft, creates a restore point under these three conditions, two of them automatically. When they do an update on your PC, they set a restore point before they download the update. And then if you want to get out of that update and go back, you can, but you got to do that within 10 days of when you got the update. Otherwise, the ability to go back is not there, right? If you install a driver that is not digitally signed, i.e. approved by Microsoft, then the restore point is automatically set. Now, what is a driver? A driver is a piece of software that makes a piece of hardware work. You have a driver for your keyboard. You have a driver for your mouse. You have a driver for your camera, etc. Okay. And of course, you can set a restore point anytime you want. If I'm changing my printer, I set a restore point. If I'm changing my keyboard, I set a restore point. If I'm changing my mouse, I set a restore point. Because that change may, in fact, screw up my computer. So try a restore point if you've never done it. More information. And oh, by the way, How to Geek, which is one of my favorite sites, How to Geek has a step-by-step with pictures on how to set a restore point. If you're going to do a restore point, then of course you go to System Properties and you go to System Protection tab, and then you come down here and you set System Restore, and then you can put the name of whatever it is that you're doing. All right, and then the date and the time will be tagged onto that when it comes up, and then you create and then close, and the restore point was automatic. That's the kind of screens you get when you're setting a restore point. To summarize, Windows is a pack rat. They save everything. You need to do disk cleanup, get rid of a lot of stuff that overloads your PC. Uninstall apps, use a external removable drive or an external cloud system. I use both. I have an external hard drive that I can plug into my PC and back up on, and I also put an awful lot of files into OneDrive, which is Microsoft's cloud. And of course, get rid of stuff you don't need anymore. Clean up, clean up. Now I got some extras, extra information, hints, tips, and tricks. If you go to Healy's Views and Reviews, you can see Jere's Tech Tips. I do Apple, Android, and Windows Tech Tips at Healy's Views and Reviews. All right. And you can find that at huey.net. That's not a bit.ly, that's just his short address, huey.net. Huey Poplock. If you're interested in staying up with what's going on, you can join Tech for Seniors. And their website is, as you see at the bottom, techforseniors.com. And they're on every morning, every Monday morning, and they Zoom. And Bob G, Ray Baxter, Dewey Clues, and of course, Huey Poplock and Ron Brown are on the Tech for Seniors website. I use it often, as I can. What do they cover? You name it. And sometimes they just have an open forum. And when you join them, you can ask questions and they'll try to get you the right answer. WinSig. If you have a special interest group that you're interested in, then there's also on huey.net WinSig's newsletter, and it'll keep you abreast of what kind of special interest groups are going on the internet. These are all free, my friends. And of course, if you're into Chromebook, the third Thursday from 2 p.m. on, Huey and Ron Brown cover Chromebooks. Modem router setup, extra information. If you have a modem router at your house and you're on Comcast or whoever for your internet service, okay, you can have your own name of your network and your own password. And this is handy because when people come over and they want to connect to the internet in your house, you can say, yeah, my internet is, and real, my internet here in the house is called JereNet. That's my SSID. And my password is, I will not tell you. Okay, so how did I do this? I went on the internet and I searched in my DuckDuckGo, changed my SSID Comcast, because that's the internet I'm on. And I could do it right on the internet without having to talk to anybody or anything else. I changed it and it works fine. All right, why do that? Because a hacker can find out what your SSID is because of the type of router that you have. So it's a little security. Have your own SSID and your own password. Screen snip. Over in the lower right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see this little symbol, number 1. If you click on that, you get the big red box I got there. And now, if you want to save something on the screen, you click on screen snip and your screen darkens. And now you move your mouse and you highlight what you want to save. Okay, you can do a rectangular, freeform, Windows, or full screen snip. And the display up here in the corner pops up in the middle of your screen, giving you the same options that I have over here: rectangular, freeform, Windows, or full screen. Or, oops, I don't want to be here. That's the mini menu for screen snip. I use it all the time. When I'm trying to put together a presentation and I want to show people what it really looks like, then I use screen snip. It's very handy. If something appears on your PC and it's an error message or a warning or something like that, screen snip is great to save it. All right. And when you do a screen snip, it goes to your clipboard. And your clipboard is now ready to put that into some kind of word processor. Reader's view. As you can see by the address bar I have on this screen, I'm at the How to Geek website. And I'm looking at how to fax a document from your smartphone, which you can do, okay? But look, I got all this stuff over here on the side. And sometimes because you're using some other search engine besides DuckDuckGo, you'll have stuff on both sides. You'll have all kinds of advertisements cluttering up the page. Well, look on the address bar and see if there's this little symbol up here called the Reader's View icon. And if you do click on the Reader's View icon, this page that you're looking at now will change to this page. And now you can see that the icon for Reader's View is turned blue up here in my address bar. And I have these controls over here for the Reader's View. And these controls over here will vary depending on the Reader's View. Now, is Reader's View available on every site? No. Is Reader's View available on every device? Yes. Reader's View is available on smartphones, on tablets. And what you have to do is DuckDuckGo it and say, how do I set up Reader's View on my LG phone or my Apple iPhone or whatever, and you'll get the procedures for doing that. I use Reader's View a lot. Now, the only downside to Reader's View is every once in a while when you click on Reader's View, some of the pictures that are in the article you're looking at will not be there, but you'll still get the information. Reader's View. Restart versus shutdown. Let me give you a scenario. You're sitting there on your computer and all of a sudden you get a pop-up screen, and the pop-up screen says something ridiculous, like, this is a message from the FBI and we have a warrant for your arrest and we're going to come out to your house and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Well, of course, you know, this is a scam. What you need to do is a restart instead of a shutdown. So let me give you another scenario. You're trying to do something like open your email program and it won't open. You need to do a restart instead of a shutdown. So you click on the start button over in the lower left-hand corner, then you click on the power symbol and you get sleep, shutdown, restart, or you get hibernate, shutdown, restart. One or the other. Do a restart. Digital devices need to sometimes reload because there is a corrupted file or some of the ones and zeros in there got corrupted. Restart fixes a lot of stuff. When you hibernate, whatever you were doing on your PC goes onto your hard drive so that when you turn it back on, the same stuff comes back up. If you do a sleep, right, then what you were doing on your PC goes into your RAM, and when you come back up, it'll be there again. But it's only in your RAM. When you do a restart, everything is shut down, including your RAM. And then it's powered back on and all the programs are reloaded from the operating system boot up. That's what restart does. Try it. If you have a cell phone, I don't care what kind it is, and it's not working right, turn it off, power it down, wait 30 to 45 seconds, and power it back up. If you have a remote control for a device and it's not working right, turn it over, take the batteries out, put them back in. You just turned it off, start it back up again. It may work. This is the end of my presentation this morning, or it may be just the beginning. So, copies of the presentation, you can get them from me in PowerPoint or PDF, or you can get another copy from the Leesburg Library at this email address you see here. I'm going to stop sharing. And I'll take any questions.
All right, thanks, Jerry. Does anybody have questions? No, everything came through crystal clear. Jerry, I'm glad you showed the example of that screen snip and gave us an example of when we might use it. Again, like if we get an error message, on our screen, that's really good because you can try really hard to just write that message down, but it's nice to just go ahead and get that screen capture of it so you get the exact verbiage, because as people have probably noticed, sometimes there's a little error code in there as well. That's really helpful to your tech person.
Now, let me talk just a second about screen snip. There is a keyboard way to do screen snip also. You hold down the Shift key and your Windows key, and then tap on S like in Sierra. And that will give you screen snip. Sometimes when you try to do screen snip from the corner, right-hand corner of your PC, whatever, when you click on screen snip, whatever you wanted to capture disappears. So that's when you use Shift, Windows key, tap the S. And it doesn't make those things that you want to capture disappear. Oh yeah, if I get an error message, first thing I do is snip it. And then I don't have to remember it. because I don't know about you, but I suffer from CRS.
Mhm.
Can't remember stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, there's an epidemic of that.
Yeah. It comes with age too.
Yes, yes, it does. So what other questions can we answer for you today, participants?
After a screen snip, how do you find those snips?
So after you do snip something, where do the snips go?
Yes.
Okay,
Go ahead, Dusty.
I would just, as Jerry said, they go onto your clipboard, and that's where they're stored. Your clipboard is an invisible storage location, and then you can open up Word or PowerPoint, and then you can paste whatever you snipped into a word processor or onto some other blank document like in PowerPoint.
The
Thank
fact
you.
of the matter, yeah, the fact of the matter is, if you snip something, you can put it in an email
Mhm.
because it's on your clipboard. And like Dusty says, the clipboard is invisible. In most cases, there are certain programs now that allow you to look at what's on the clipboard, and Microsoft Word is very good about that. But yeah, I use the clipboard a lot, and I have highlighted on the internet an article of 12 pages long, and then I put it on the clipboard. And then I open up Microsoft Word and put it in there, and now I got the whole article. Yahoo! So clipboard is very handy.
So it's necessary to paste the item from the clipboard into a document for future reference.
Yeah, or into something, right? Now, the clipboard is not additive, okay? Once you put something on the clipboard, when you put the next thing on the clipboard, it's going to wipe out what was there before, except if you're using Microsoft Word.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. When I put together a presentation, I don't think up all those things. You know, I've done this tune up your PC presentation numerous times, and every time prior to doing it, I go through it again and make sure it's current. Now, those are the most, if you go into the internet and say, tune up my PC, you're going to find 1,000 different articles that will show you how to do it. And out of all of those, the things that I mentioned are constantly in every one of those articles. Some of them say use CCleaner, use glare utilities. I used to do that. I don't anymore. And I don't have problems when I do performance cleanup. I use disk cleanup from Microsoft. Now, am I bad mouthing CCleaner? No, I'm not.
Will this presentation be uploaded to the YouTube like previous, or do I need to get a PDF from your site?
We'll put it on our YouTube channel.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You have a library YouTube channel, right?
Right. Okay.
Wow.
Any other questions for Jerry? Okay. Well, you've got the presentation. Jerry's presentation was emailed to you, and again, that's got a lot of great information. It doesn't just have, you know, all the main points of what you can do to clean up your computer, but also, as he said, one of those first slides has a bunch of live links. So those blue underlined titles and URLs will go right to the article or to the app that he's talking about. And also you've got Jerry's email and you've got the librarian email. So if you have other questions, if you want to get information from Jere about the Lake Sumter Computer Society, highly recommend it. It really is a great group of very interested people. They have a program at each meeting. And there is, as you know, always something to learn and always something to do with your computer to keep it running and to use your computer safely. Okay, well, thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed the class. Look for our other classes. Jerry's going to be doing one next week on password managers and privacy settings on the computers. If you're like me and feel like if you get one more password, your head is just going to explode, this is a good program for you because Jerry's going to talk about some reliable password managers where you can put all of that information and not have to struggle to try to remember it and have a place that's slightly more secure than maybe that sticky note by your keyboard. So go ahead and if you want to sign up for Jerry's password managers and privacy settings for next week. All right, goodbye, everybody. Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure. Appreciate it.